Tonight on Joy News Prime, a massive explosion in the western region town of Apiati near Bogoso leaves many dead and more trapped after a truck filled with ammunition crashed with a motorbike.
Now I'm not seeing video. Now
Council of Zongo chiefs demand operationalization of abandoned police posts at Mamobi as a sustainable measure of dealing with violent gang clashes.
The Ayawaso Municipal Assembly complied and set up a police post, but for whatever reason, it has never been operational. But this was to be an intervention immediate to be able to address the issue.
We'll also hear from the police insisting this may not happen because of the sitting of the post.
When you look at the sitting of the police post, is on a major gutter. And two, they're looking at the architecture will not offer a lot of goodness.
Also in this bulletin, political scientist Dr. Macho Boatin dispels claims of former Mayor Kumasi Mayor Bogoso that former President Mahama cannot appeal to swing voters as he launches his own bid to leave the NDC.
The question I would like to ask is whether he's able to beat President Mahama in the NDC and then come out as the flag bearer. My response is no.
We have details as Ashanti Regional Secretary of the NDC, Kwame Zu, slams the former mayor for his comments, arguing such posturing will affect the internal cohesion of the party.
We would rather prefer that all members of the party who are desirous of running for offices across the board, starting from the branch to any other position within the party, should channel their energies and efforts at strengthening the branches of the party. Any other outside these does not augur well for internal party cohesion.
In business, we have a special report on the impact of light fishing as fish stocks decline and fisherfolk gradually lose their source of livelihood.
Taking porridge. I have only one CD in my pocket. Meanwhile, I have kids. Before, when fishing was good, I married 3 wives and gave birth to 15 children. Now they are done with school. I have 21 grandchildren. At my age, I shouldn't be fishing.
My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Joy News Prime comes to you live from our studios in Kokomlimle. We are on DTT because we're free to air on Go TV channel 144 and DSTV channel 421. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Do stay for details. For choosing us. A dynamite explosion has left many dead at Bodier, a town close to Bogoso in the western region. Thursday's explosion has also created dry gauges in the middle of the Bogoso-Bodier road, creating vehicular traffic on that stretch. The police says it is collaborating with other first responders to bring relief to survivors and the community. Reports say a designated mine explosive truck carrying explosives on the Bogoso main stretch of the road heading towards Ayamfuri on reaching a town called Apiati just off Bogoso was crossed by a tricycle and went underneath the explosive truck. The resultant scratching of the metallic parts of the metal on the road surface caught fire, burning under the truck and consequently exploding the entire truck. The explosion subsequently flattened all the buildings and structures in the township. It is unclear the number of casualties involved, but Joy News sources are quoting hundreds. Viewers are warned pictures could be disturbing.
Now I'm not seeing video. Now I'm not seeing.
Oh, brother. Timami ya mejumana. I can't
The Ghana Police Service has been announcing an emergency public alert, and excerpts of that announcement reads, it's on your screen right now. The Ghana Police Service reference to our earlier emergency public notice. The police have taken charge of the situation, providing security to enable the emergency workers, including the Ghana National Fire Service, NADMO, and the ambulance service to manage the situation. The public has been advised to move out of the area to nearby towns for their safety while recovery efforts are underway. An appeal is also being made to nearby towns to open up their classrooms, churches, to accommodate surviving victims. Meanwhile, preliminary investigation has established that a mining explosive vehicle moving from Takwa to Chirano mines collided with a motorcycle, resulting in the explosion. Most of the victims have been rescued and are on admission at various hospitals and clinics within the Bogoso municipality. Most of the victims have been rescued and are on admission. Okay, so reinforcement of resources and personnel have been deployed to effectively handle the incident. We continue to urge the public to remain calm as we manage the situation. Further updates regarding the emergency evacuation of the injured will be communicated in due course. And that's the emergency public alert that was issued by the Ghana Police. Joining me via phone is Trinity FM journalist Kojo Fletcher for more on this one. Kojo, thanks so much for joining us. Paint a picture of the grim situation and tell us how the community is reacting to what is undoubtedly a national disaster.
Aisha, if we could come again, I found it hard to hear what you said.
All right, so I'm asking you to paint a picture of the situation and also tell us how the community is reacting to this national disaster.
Well, Aisha, I want to say that it was something terrible this afternoon, something that many had not seen before. And when I go to the scene this afternoon, the middle of the road had caved in. Someone would think that it was intentional intentional pit that was created. But I found out no, it was the explosion that created the pit. And when you go to the town, you can see that the whole of the town is under rubble. It's only those who were not in the house will be safe. I mean, the road, the community is just under the shoulder of the road, which that their building is mainly clay or mud building. So the explosion really.
Hello, Nana Kojo. All right, we seem to have lost Nana Kojo there. Let's try and get him back on the line to tell us more about this, but he's basically giving us update on what has happened in the Bogoso township, and he's telling us how devastating it has been. Do we have Kojo back? All right, Grace is also joining us on the line from Takrady, and she'll be telling us more on this one. Grace, I need you to paint a picture of what has happened.
Well, Aisha, just as Fletcher was saying, it's a very sad situation that has befell our friends and brothers in Ake. I mean, the community has been flattened by this explosion. Families are wailing because loved ones have been lost. Like Fletcher said, those who are lucky enough to have been on the farms are the people who remain unharmed from this particular development. It's a situation where if you get this night, you would see a very, very sad community, but it is full of sadness because of the loss that they've had, but also because the emergency services are taking, work to retrieve or find survivors, for those who will be lucky, and unfortunate ones who have passed on. I'm being told by my sources on the ground that there have been confirmation from the Takwa Government Hospital that 3 of the persons who were rushed there have also passed on. 2 from the Waseko-Pong Government Hospital have also passed on. So that is a bit of update I'm getting in the past few minutes, that 5 more people have been pronounced dead. So it's a very, very sad situation in Apiate as we speak.
Kojo, how are first responders actually reacting to the situation?
Well, this it has taken everybody by surprise. And so everybody cannot put a finger on what exactly is happening to them, even though they know what happened. But it's like you're in a state of disbelief. First time people are seeing human bodies scattered all over. So it's quite a very difficult situation to come to terms with. But with time, I'm sure they will heal and things will be fine.
Samuel Kojo Braces, journalist with Sky FM, with that update. Police Citrip has some details of the explosion, and my colleague Kweku Asante joins me with details of that. Kweku, what is the police intelligence saying?
Aisha, so the police Citrip that he released on the incident points out of the fact that this vehicle containing explosives actually crashed with this motorcycle. The Citrip explains that the motorcycle ran under the vehicle, causing this vehicle to explode. And when it did explode, the lines of the Electricity Company of Ghana, the meters and other things that were around also caught fire and then actually spread to about 500 homes in the area. And so not only was the damage that was done by the explosion, which happened because of the accident that was involving the motorbike and that vehicle, but the Electricity Company of Ghana, their cables around also caught fire, according to this Citrip. And so the police have actually been confirming that this vehicle that was carrying explosives was actually being led by a police officer who they say is currently in good health. They provide the number of the vehicles, and it was going to the Chirano gold mines in the Western North region. So currently the police, they say they've dispatched the deputy regional commander to the scene to lead investigations to be sure that they are able to claim as much bodies as they are able to, and also to ensure that if there are other people who are alive but have been trapped under the debris, they will be able to be rescued.
Now, the Chirano gold mine has also released a statement. What does it say?
So the Chirano gold mine, the statement confirms that this vehicle was actually coming to them. And let me read portions of the statement that was just released. It says, a truck under the supervision of and belonging to mining services contractor, Magza, was involved in a collision causing an explosion near the town of Bogoso. The vehicle was headed to Chirano and approximately 140 kilometers away from the site during the incident. They say they are currently monitoring the situation to ensure whether they are going to give some help to the people in the area, and also to ensure that the damage that has been caused is minimized.
My colleague Kweku Asante with those statements. Now, Deputy Director General of NADMO, Saje Amadou, joins me via phone with what the disaster organization is picking up from the ground. I'm grateful for your time, sir. What is NADMO's initial investigations unraveling?
Yeah, thank you. As confirmed or put out by your reporters, that is how the incident happened. It was a motorbike and a truckload of explosives. We are told that we don't have the exact figures of the houses affected, but around 500, it could be more, it could be less. We have not also confirmed the exact figures of those of the dead yet and those injured. What has happened is that the fire service, ambulance service, and police, the Ghana police, and other agencies are on the ground helping in the rescue. They have been moving the bodies to Fiscal Hospital, some at Takwa Hospital. There are 3 people that are also in critical conditions that have been moved all the way to Kumasi. The last confirmation I got from the district chief executive is that those who have been sent to Konfanochi Hospital. Now they have also identified a Roman Catholic church building at Bogoso town itself, where they have moved those who survived, those who don't have any injuries on them. They have moved them there temporarily, and they are providing them with some relief items as we speak.
Now, looking at the level of destruction, how strenuous would you say rescue efforts will be?
It's an explosion. So the particular spot that the explosion happened, the picture that has been painted by our directors on the ground is very serious because there's a gaping hole in the road. That is the main Bogoso road to Kumasi. That is where the incident happened. A serious gaping hole, and it brought up a lot of debris. So some of the houses that were affected as a result of those debris, and some of the gas emissions from the explosion that caught fire. Most of the houses in APNP itself are thatched houses, and the roofing is thatched and the mud houses. So most of the thatch had caught fire, and that is also what affected a lot of people who were even in their homes.
Mr. Amadou, we are receiving conflicting figures with regards to the number of dead bodies. Now, from what you've seen, what figure can you put to the number of dead bodies?
Well, that will be difficult to do. That's why you are receiving conflicting figures, because this is a whole town that this thing has happened in. So as the situation unfolds, dead bodies are being found. It is until a complete assessment is done that an exact figure can be put on the dead, those who have severe injuries and those who have minor injuries, and those that have been rescued. So it's quite a fluid situation. We can't put exact figures. So every figure you'll be getting now, not conflicting, but these are estimates. That's what you are getting.
I'm grateful for your time. Mr. Seji Saji Amadino is Deputy Director General of NADMO. Now, the Council of Zongo Chiefs within the Nima and Mamobi communities are demanding the immediate operationalization of an abandoned police post within that area. This is part of a raft of measures they say will sustainably deal with the emerging gang clashes there. The post, which was erected by the Municipal Assembly to maintain law and order within the community over a year ago, never got to be operationalized. We have details of a meeting between the chiefs and a high-powered police delegation earlier today. First, though, my colleague Manuel Cranting went back to scenes of Tuesday's clash where trading activities are beginning to pick up again.
Currently, there's still pretty much heavy police deployment here. In fact, in just the past couple of minutes, we've seen the police officers do a stop and search over here. And we can see in your shot currently as some of the police officers stop and address some of the gentlemen over there. All of this, we're told, is in reference to the police heightened visibility and alertness on the ground. We're told that in just the past 24 hours, there have been 2 additional arrests from the 7 that were told earlier on Tuesday night. What is a different feature that we're seeing this morning also is that a lot of the vendors are now actually, they've packed their stuff and they are selling. In fact,
I'm confidence because I'm really confident here, so I don't have any problem.
So yesterday, a lot of you did not come to work. It was because you were scared of what?
Yeah, because of the issue. That's why we couldn't come yesterday. Yeah.
So are you expecting that the police will continue being here even as they continue?
If only they will be here, we will be always be happy. Because
them to be here always.
Let me speak to this woman who is also here. Madam, just speak to me. You seem to have a lot of confidence in the presence of the police here.
Yes, I'm very confident. I want them to be here because the way our boys are behaving is not happy. We are not happy about it at all. So we need police confidence here.
Okay, but tell me, they say that they are looking for more information from residents in the community. Are you willing to provide any information to the police?
Oh no, even though I'm not staying here, I live here, I'm now at Medina, but I have a relative here. So the way they are doing at my gutter here, we don't like it. And we've seen that they've put in some container here that they want to bring police station here. Up to now, they didn't hear anything about them, they didn't say anything. But so we want the police station to be here so that maybe when they see police people here, they be.
Tonight, the chiefs and opinion leaders have backed the calls for the operationalization of the police post in that area. Moro Baba Isa is the chairman of the Ayawaso Council of Zongo Chiefs.
Previously, the Ayawaso Council of Zongo Chiefs appealed to the Ayawaso North Municipal Assembly to set up a police post at Bakingota. It is on record. The Ayawaso Municipal Assembly complied and set up a police post, but for whatever reason, it has never been operational. The structure is there, but not operational. We came about this decision to get this police post in place because we realized that is the point. That's the point where a lot of unhappy situations happen. That's why we made appeal to the municipal chief executive of Ayawaso North to erect a post where policemen will be there 24 hours to help prevent the situation. In everything, we have what we call first aid. What you saw there is an immediate intervention, and subsequently, the municipal chief executive had a plan, which I know, to expand the place. But because of what happened, if the police are there, even 2 policemen, they will help to solve this problem. Whether container or not, we know we see the policemen, they are errant, where they operate in so many places. But this was to be an intervention immediate to be able to address the issue.
But the police says this request may not be granted, even though it hints of increased patrols in the area. It insists it cannot accept the current setting of the police post. ACP Kwesi Fori is Director General of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service.
Regarding the police post, it was thoroughly discussed. And when you look at the sitting of the police post, is on a major gutter where flood normally takes place within that community. And 2, they're looking at the architecture, weight, and the container, taking into consideration our climate and the way it was designed and its closeness to the road will not offer a lot of goodness. But Accra have been zoned into operational zones, and police patrols, as you witness, are all over the city. And that place have also been taken care of in terms of police presence and visibility. And even the kind of personnel that we bring have that force, capability, and strength to deal with it. And then you look at the distance from the Nima police station to the container base. You look at the distance from there to Mamobi, Kotobabi. You look at the distance to other nearby police stations at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. It means that place is going to be a major operational zone where we operate from, with our armed units, special units patrolling those areas and making sure that police authority prevails on the ground. Go back there yourself, do your homework, and report at it.
We can now bring in Ben Abdallah, who is coordinator of the Zongo Development Fund, on Zoom for more on this. You were in that meeting with the police and the chiefs. This matter of the sitting of the police post came up. How was it resolved?
Yes, the police, to my understanding, from the discussions that we had, did not say that they would not be interested in a police post. But what they said they didn't like was the container that was placed there as a police post, because they said that the container, sitting in the container, will make them uncomfortable because sanitation-wise, it's not advisable. So what one of them suggested rather was that they should rather prefer more police presence. So which means that the police should rather patrol in the vicinity, because the vicinity is a bigger vicinity. I mean, it's a big vicinity, or it's a big territory. If we were to station a police post at one particular place and having to station police personnel at one particular place, if an activity or a criminal activity is happening further than where the police post is, then how do you expect the police personnel to be able to move in there and preempt that criminal activity? That is a suggestion that came from one of them. So I don't think that they said that they would not prefer a permanent police post befitting the status of the police. That I don't think that's what they said. But I would want to say that if we have the two operating at the same time, I think it will go a long way to salvage the situation. That is to say that if we have a police post there and at the same time we have police personnel patrolling the area, I think that putting the two together is going to do the trick. And in the course of the discussions, one of the police personnel suggested that let's also have more cameras stationed at certain vantage points, especially where these criminal activities are known to be taking place, so that if anything goes on there, a camera will be there to capture whoever is there and whatever criminal activity that person intends to perpetrate or that person is perpetrating. So I think that in a nutshell, this is what was said around the issue of the police posts.
But a key matter which has come up on the gangsterism we saw is the fact that a lot of the youth are not properly engaged. I mean, what does this mean? That the fund is not doing enough?
The fund was brought into being sometime in 2018, and this youth employment has been with us since independence. But the fund, I would say the Zongo Development Fund, and the Zongo Development Ministry then, from 2017 till now, a lot of training activities have been done for some of the Zongo youths across the length and breadth of the Zongo communities. If I remember correctly, or if my memory serves me right, about 6,000 to 7,000 Zongo youth have been trained. I'm not saying that this is enough. This is not enough, because if you look at the statistics, in every town, in every village, in every hamlet, we have a Zongo. So we have more than 3,000 Zongo communities scattered across the length and breadth of this country. So we have more than 6,000 Zongo youths within the Zongos. But the fund is doing the best it possibly can to ensure that the issue of or the rate of unemployment within the Zongos is less. So this year, for instance, again, the Zango Development Fund and the Zango Development Secretariat, of which I'm the head, will also roll out the same skills development and skills training programs, whereby Zango youth will be engaged in so many vocational activities. So this is intended to equip them with skills so that they can on their own set themselves up in business and their own businesses. Because if you have a person from the Zango engaged or going to school, there wouldn't be any reason why such a person, once he's engaged or the person is schooling, will get up and say that he's going to commit a criminal activity. Even if he's invited to join a gang group, I don't think that person will be motivated enough to say that I'm going to join. So it is a problem that has been with us. Employment problem is a problem that has been with us, but it is something that is being sorted out on a gradual basis. If you put even Zango Development Fund aside, there are other institutions and governmental institutions whereby many skills development and skills training programs are rolled out. If you take any ministry, go to Ministry for Youth and Sports, you find an agency or agencies rolling out programs. For instance, Youth Employment Agency. In the budget, for instance, there are a number of programs that they will roll out. If you go to NIP, there are a number of programs that they will roll out. If you go to Ghana Enterprise Agency, there are a number of programs that they roll out. So if you take a closer look at all these interventions in the 2022 budget, what I will advise is that graduates and youth who are unemployed and want to have some skills and want to have themselves equipped with skills and want to have some work to do, they should take advantage of all these interventions and get themselves equipped, and at the end of the day, get some work doing. If we do that, I think that some of these disturbances that we are witnessing will be a thing of the past. And in the course of the discussion, I think that I also spoke about the fact that the issue that we are discussing in relation to Mamobi and Nima is far bigger than what we are seeing. Because if you move into any Zango, for instance, you realize that there is a base, or there are bases, where youths between the ages of 10, 15, 20 congregate and engage in all kinds of criminal activities. Though there are some bases where youth congregate, they drink attire and they do all kinds of legitimate things. These are not the bases that we are talking about. But there are other bases that a lot of us are aware of. These youth, they are within the Zango communities. They are our children, they are our nieces, they are our nephews. We know them. So we can easily fish them out. So in the course of the discussions, it was suggested that these bases have to be broken. So somebody also suggested that we should the police service should try and extend their tentacles beyond Nima and Mamobi and move into other areas where you may have some of these bases where youth between the ages of 10 and 20 congregate and engage themselves in all kinds of criminal activities, because these youth are the future leaders of this country. So if we have a number of youth engaged in those kinds of criminal activities, it
is certainly worrying. It's worrying, and something must be done. I'm grateful for your time, Ben Abdallah. He is coordinator of the Zango Development Fund. Still to come in this bulletin and in business, we have a special report on the impact of light fishing as fish stocks decline and fisherfolk gradually lose their source of livelihood.
Even taking porridge, I have only one CD in my pocket. Meanwhile, I have kids. Before, when fishing was good, I married 3 wives and gave birth to 15 children. Now they are done with school. I have 21 grandchildren. At my age, I shouldn't be fishing.
Hello there, you're welcome to Business with me, Charles Aite. Of course, we're continuing, the story regarding the unfortunate incident at Bogoso where, an entire community has been swept away by a dynamite explosion there. The question at hand has to do with the best practices when it comes to the transportation of dynamite to various mining centers. We have a press release from the mining company in question. If we could pull it up to get you appreciate what exactly they are stating, and it's from the Chirano mines, the gold mines. They're stating the fact that a truck under the supervision of and belonging to mining services, that there's a mining contractor, Maxim, was involved in a collision causing an explosion near the town of Bogoso. The vehicle was headed to Chirano and approximately 140 kilometers away from the site during the incident. We're closely monitoring the situation and the rescue effort in place, signed by the communications officer, Kwabnam Owusu and Prechum there. So they have sent us a clear understanding of what happened and their position on this matter. We're hoping to get a response from the former, president of the chief executive of the Association of Miners, Dr. Tony Oben. He joins us via Zoom. We're grateful, sir, that you could join us. Unfortunate story, but we're very much interested to know the best practices when it comes to the transportation of explosive materials to the mining site. If you could kindly unmute. Of course, we've seen the development story unfold, but we're quite interested, Dr. Oben, to find out the best practices when it comes to the transportation of explosive materials like dynamite to mining sites, and whether or not this situation was, a deviation from best practices.
Thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers and listeners. I want to quickly correct one information. I'm speaking on behalf of African Institute of Extractive Industry.
Indeed.
Yes. So, it's a sad incident, and unfortunately, it's actually in my hometown, close to my hometown. So it's about 45 minutes away from my hometown. So it affects all of us directly. Normally, the explosives companies are very careful transporting explosives to the mine. There are strict requirements for them to adhere to. So it's quite surprising that this incident occurred, and my heart goes out for those who have been affected by this horrible situation. Now, you are required normally to look at the package. The packaging is very, very important. That the packaging does not allow for any leakage because of the volatility of the explosive. So there's a need for an inspection to ensure that the material has been well packaged. Now, in transporting, of course, you also need to ensure that in packing them on the vehicle, they are done in a specified way. There's always the requirement for a lead vehicle, a vehicle that leads it to direct it and to sort of give any warning to passengers and other vehicles that the explosive carrying vehicle is actually carrying a material which is dangerous. So these are the requirements, and I have not heard many times of these type of situations that have occurred at Bogoso today. So I am at a loss as to how it happened. I don't know whether there was some mistake somewhere or just human error or something, and I cannot speak to that because I haven't seen it myself. But I know that there are strict requirements. You need to package the material very well. You need to load the material on the vehicle in a very specified manner. There's always a requirement for a lead vehicle that will indicate that the vehicle coming is actually carrying material that is explosive and that can cause problem if care is not taken.
Well, we have seen the police service, of course, initiate contingency measures to, counter situations and, of course, come to the rescue of those who might need them. But help us understand the kind of message that this unfortunate incident would send the mining community in Ghana.
Yes, I think first of all, it means that mining communities need to be protected, and communities along the our room where these dangerous materials are carried need to be protected. You probably need to be told that occasionally there is the need that there will be the transportation of these materials.
All right.
And of course, living there, they don't have to always be thinking about explosive material being carried there because they are living in their own place. So I think it is important on the part of the carriers to actually protect the passengers, to protect the community members, the innocent community members. It is their responsibility. But one thing that I heard, which I am still looking for confirmation, was that at a point, the community members were rushing to the place. Obviously, when there was a minor incident and there's a need for rescue or support, you would naturally have community members rushing there. And I think that probably might have contributed to the number of fatalities that we are hearing about. But really, it's a very sad day, and my heart goes to the families of these, and in fact, the entire community. It's a very sad situation.
Of course. So, of course, we're grateful that you could help us with your, knowledge on this situation. When it comes to matters of best practices, we shall keep an eye on this situation to give you, our viewers, updates as and when in our business segment. Dr. Tony Obin, grateful once again. That'll be it for the business segment for this edition.
And it's time now for Showbiz. Becky is here. Beautiful Becky in black.
Hello to you.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, Aisha. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a while. I miss you, Becky.
Yeah, you should do more of Prime. You and
what about Kumod? We haven't heard about them for some time now.
Well, it's Timothy Bentum. He was once an actor and now turned pastor. He is the one talking about Kumod. He appreciated the fact that Kumod at a point was flourishing or was leading the movie industry here in Ghana, but for lack of funds or whatever it is that caused it, that made it decline. But he is saying that it is the only way. Kumod needs to be revamped so that the movie industry can, cross borders, what we're all looking forward to. Timothy Bentum.
We are trying. We are trying. I think that, the cheap people, they have a lot of. They are sitting on a cash cow, if you like, and they should just, like Bollywood would do, they should just really revamp, think it through, subtitling right. Don't get a guy to follow a camera from here to Aveno. And the camera doesn't follow up just to buy time so you can do 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? Because you can get very good stuff out there because you have a huge following in Ghana and everywhere else. Diaspora level, in the Schengen states, everywhere. So you should. I think I see a lot of promise for them, for the English people. I've always had a problem with it because
really?
you can't do it better than Hollywood. So what we should do as a movie industry is to become like South Africa, where it's an English movie, but there's inside there. You know what I'm saying? They mix. Yeah, and then they subtitle. So you under G sell your culture as a people, and then that's what people want. People who are not Ghanaian want to see. The Ghanaians who are in the diaspora and stuff, they want you won't say Jacko will laugh. They don't want English is there. They don't want to, but we should be able to marry it to make it right, so as to satisfy our local audience and also endear the foreign audience to make it bigger.
I think he's so right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only treasure we have. Our local industry.
You should invest.
Hollywood is there.
Yeah.
They speak English, but Kumod is local. It's ours. It's so unique. So we need to actually do something about it so that we can.
What they're calling for is investment. So I'm putting it to you.
We can do some 10 cities every day.
Don't do that. We can't do 10 cities. You need above 10 cities. Let's move away. Let's go to the north. Let's talk about Marcasio. Okay. He is saying that, I don't know whether he's bragging. I can't say that he's bragging, but he is saying that he doesn't need any musician to help him promote, you know, his concert.
Okay.
You know, usually, or what happens in the industry is that Stone Boys, for instance, is having a program. He has Sarkodie, he has Samini, he has all these people.
He brought the gentleman
from Jamaica.
Yeah.
You know, so it helps promote your concert. But this gentleman, he doesn't need anyone.
I walk alone.
I tell you.
Okay.
I don't need any artist here to do my show. I'm just coming. Really? Yes, I'm just doing my show, and the arena will be filled up. You know. So, and it's not the same way like when artists from here comes to the north, unless we are there, let's support them.
So and all your shows that you do in Accra, you don't take the support from any artist?
Oh no. If you are come to support me, I will appreciate it. But like I'm not using it to promote my show. Like
really?
They're not big enough? No, they are big enough, but like I'm just doing my own thing. Like people to know that like, okay, this is my castle. He has the numbers here.
That's my hometown boy.
Yeah. Oh, but he does so well there.
Okay.
Competes.
He's a star in my hometown.
Big one. I think it's the reason why he's saying that he doesn't really need anybody.
Maybe he needs Fancy Gadam.
No, Fancy Gadam. Don't bring any rift between these two, because Fancy Gadam is, you know, his own person. He is his own person.
But there's nothing wrong with collaboration. They can.
Well, they will collaborate.
Elsewhere they do, and it works.
Well,
thank you so much for bringing us Showbiz.
Anytime.
And that's Becky with Showbiz. Now, a political science lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Dr. Amache Boateng says claims that former President John Mahama cannot appeal to swing voters is untrue. A former Kumasi Mayor Kojo Bonsu this morning launched an attack against the former president, claiming there's a tag of corruption hanging around his neck, which will make it difficult for him to lead the NDC to victory. But the political scientist contends John Mahama is still a formidable political candidate. We'll hear from him shortly. But first, listen to Kojo Bonsu, who says he will be contesting to lead the party as flag bearer ahead of the 2024 elections.
Mudslinging, they've put him in the mud, they've said a whole lot of things about him. Now, and the swing voters have taken this on, and so they have like blocked their mind on President Mahama, and they are saying that NPP has tagged him that he's a corrupt person, he's that, and it hasn't gotten out of the minds of the swing voters. So I believe, as an NDC man, if we have a new person, the swing voters will have a new mind. They wouldn't always think that, oh, we brought in Mahama and we're going to vote against them. No. So it will be a clean slate, to be a new thing. So let's see. You want somebody who hasn't been mudslinged like that. And that is me, Kojo Bonsu.
You know, you also have some history in Kumasi, even though we had some people under your tenure tagging you same. Do you think that comparing your track record to former President John Mahama and what people said about you, what they said about you have now gone away, or you know, you've justified beyond all reasonable means that what they said about you were not true?
I'm sure you know, you're aware that it was all false. People in Kumasi have come to believe that Kojo Bonsu was a real man. I did a good job here, and I've come to believe that they don't have anything against me. And I wasn't tagged as a corrupt person. All they were saying was that I was arrogant, but I think I wasn't arrogant. I was only a firm person doing my job. NDC doesn't have a problem. We are reorganizing. The party is such a strong party. So how would you say that there's a lot of wranglings? I haven't heard anything. All we are doing is we are reorganizing the party, and we are coming to take power in 2024 with my leadership.
In an interview with Joy News, Dr. Amache Boateng said John Mahama is still a formidable candidate who could have even beaten President Akufo-Addo in the 2020 elections.
I like to believe that. Let me simply say that yes, he can. To me, it would depend on what I just talked about. Then this needs to sit down, do an analysis of the Ghanaian economy, and come out with, some policies whose implementation can significantly affect, people's life.
Right.
Flowing from, 2016, 2017, the disappointment is all over the place because the sort of things that were thrown out, have turned out to be a mirage. So this time around, we want real, pragmatic policies, programs, very simple, doable programs that people know this could be achieved in the context of the current economic situation. Right. I want to believe that if he's able to do that, then definitely people will buy into it. I mean, it's not a personality or any other thing per se, but it is what you declare that you are going to do. What you declare that you are going to do. Governance should be about development. Governance should be about restructuring the Ghanaian economy. Governance should be about, creating jobs for the people. Governance should be about finding a way to stabilize, the economy. So we have political stability so far. I think the major challenge is economic stability.
It's also noted that Kojo Bonsu cannot on any day match John Mahama, and should both persons contest in the NDC primaries, the former president will win easily.
Politics in Ghana really has its own, characteristics, and one thing I think is that whoever comes out of the two political parties, and to me that is the first thing. If his statements are anything to go by, he's looking at it from the angle of the national election. I think that shouldn't be the way to go. He should come out of the NDC victorious first before he can, aim at floating voters. And so the question I would like to ask is whether he's able to beat President Mahama in the NDC, come out as the flag bearer. My response is no. He's not going to be able to, do better than President Mahama in the NDC. And just as we are all aware, the votes appreciated significantly, the last time round. And some of us even have the opinion that, maybe the strategy of the NDC might have robbed them of victory. I believe strongly that President Mahama could beat Nana Addo in the last elections. I do believe that.
The Regional Secretary Kwame Zu has chastised the former mayor for his comments, arguing that comments do not augur well for the internal cohesion of the party.
The position of the party presently is that after every electoral cycle, we start reorganization of the party from the branches. As I speak to you, that process is ongoing. We would rather prefer that all members of the party who are desirous of running for offices across the board, starting from the branch to any other position within the party, should channel their energies and efforts at strengthening the branches of the party. Any other thought aside these does not augur well for internal party cohesion and forward march of the party. So everybody is not exclusive to one man. Every well-meaning member of the party is encouraged to go to his or her branch and work at that level. That is the only way we will have a formidable party moving forward.
Right. Do you agree with the contention of Mr. Kojo Bonsu that the former president cannot appeal to swing voters?
I want to believe that everybody who is a member of the party knows how we regulate the party internally. Let's advise, act accordingly, and be guided by the larger interest of the party, and also desist from making comments that have a tendency to split our front and divide our ranks.
The All Teachers Alliance Ghana says the introduction of the semester program to the basic schools right from KG level is an added load to the already burdensome profession. National Chairman of the association, Isaac Ofori, is predicting absenteeism among pupils and facilitators, which will soar in the face of boredom that this new calendar comes with. In a statement, the association stated the workload on teachers will be increased without any sort of motivation or incentives. Let's get on Zoom and speak to the national chairman of the association, Isaac Ofori. I'm grateful for your time, sir. You are saying the semester system is highly insensitive and awkward for the employer to subject the employee to such an environment of distress against the labor laws of this country. How do you explain that?
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to the issue as we have already indicated. The semester system is not going to be a favorable one, because looking at the whole program and the courses that the children are taking in school, it does not warrant such a long period in school. It's going to create a lot of boredom among school kids, and is going to, reduce their interest in learning. Because take it for instance, a primary school student taking how many courses will a primary school student take over the 6 months? Is he going to take 6 courses? And how many times is he going to learn these 6 courses over the 21 weeks that has been given to them? So we realize that the semester for the KG up to the JSS is not feasible in this context. We have always maintained that the trimester system has not proven to be an ineffective system, and no justification whatsoever has been made for the trimester system that is not working well for a primary school or the JSS student. So virtually, you can see that it's going to create a lot of gap among the gap that has already been created. Teachers are complaining that it's going to take a lot of energy from them. We are undermotivated. When you go to so many places, teachers are undermotivated. So if you bring such a long system, which is going to take away a lot of time from teachers from even, taking other private issues serious in addition to what they are doing now, it's going to create a lot of problems. So we have said that absenteeism it will go to set in because children will not be motivated enough to go to school. We don't know how many courses JSS students are going to take over these 21 weeks that they are proposing. So virtually, there's a huge gap in this new system, and we think that it is not the best for basic school students. It's not the best at all.
Now, you're also saying Ghana's education system has suffered in the last 2 decades because of a lack of policy direction and incessant interference by politicians. You say this is hurting our educational system and it is affecting the teaching and learning environment. How so?
You see, over the years, policies that have come out from government, to be implemented has been done under practical tone. You see that this is taking the shine from our education system. So take it, for instance, politicians devise the policies, and when they bring the policies, we expect that stakeholders will sit down, digest these policies, and look for better ways and means to implement the policies. But this is not the case. Over the years, we have seen that when politicians bring these policies, they want the policy to come in its crude form, without maybe proposal. They won't even buy into proposal. They would like to even escape stakeholder engagement, and they would like to bring the policy in its crude form just to maybe score political points or any other thing that could give credit to the government. And we believe that skipping stakeholders is going to create a lot of problems. And over the years, we have seen that political policies that have come out to reform our education system has come with the intention to score political points. And stakeholders are being ignored again and again. And the most hurting part of it is that teachers who are facilitators of these policies are ignored all the time. They are not even given the chance. The policy does not even consider them at all. Because if you look at all these things, if politicians come out with policies every day and teachers are put aside, you see that it's not going to improve education the way we want it. So we have seen a lot of educational reforms. They are not taking the shape. They are not working the way we want because the facilitators, the teachers that are involved have been ignored in these policies. So political interferences over the years has created a lot of gaps, vacuum, that is affecting our educational system, and if not addressed in the shortest possible time, the future consequences is going to be very dire. So we are asking that the government interference in education must reduce as a matter of urgency, so that stakeholders who are on the ground, stakeholders who understand how, when these policies are implemented, is going to improve the system, so that the children are going to be part of the society, contribute their quota to the society. Teachers are going to bring the best out of them, so that our education will take good shape. Other than that, good policies will come, and the impact that we expect that will have on the children, the impact that we expect that it will have on the economy will not be realized because it has come in its crude form, because stakeholders that should be involved in making sure that these policies are implemented in its best form, are either ignored, sidelined, or are not listened to. That is the major problem we are facing now. That's why we say that political interference has created a lot of gaps in our education system, and it's taking a challenge.
I'm grateful for your time. Isaac Ofori, he's National Chairman of All Teachers Alliance Ghana. Now, the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOCSAG, has called off its strike hours after its industrial action brought work in public offices to its knees as people seeking services there were left frustrated. At a news conference in Cape Coast yesterday, the Central Regional Secretary of the association, Alhaji Apam Noho, urged CLOCSAG members to be resolute until their demands for better conditions of service are met. NS Meno reports that many people were left frustrated as they couldn't access services from government offices.
It is not unusual to find people mass up like this at the entrance of the Registrar General's Department. Often, they mass up in such a manner to make enquiries and to seek clearance on what business they're here to transact. But the story here today is different. These are people who are seeking to enter the premises but have to be turned away because of the strike by the Civil and Local Government Staff Association. The Registrar General's Department is one of the agencies that is under the association, and therefore today its doors are closed to the public. Many have had to be turned away and they have left here disappointed.
So I'm here to verify a marriage certificate.
And what were you told?
Yeah, they told me that he's a strike, and I'm surprised because I didn't know anything about this strike that they are going to. So I didn't know anything about it.
And how is this going to affect your plans? For
it's going to affect me because all the way from Westland to here, and that's my plan today, but I don't know what to do again. And it has been a very big problem to me tonight, right?
Thank you very much for speaking to us. And I would want to show you what is happening right now. You see people who have come here today and unfortunately are being asked to move away by the security officer at post. And that is really what he's been doing all morning. I don't know if you will speak to us briefly. We've had people come here since what time today?
Since from morning.
Around what, 5 a.m.?
Some come earlier than that, some too come later than.
That is quite typical of the Registrar General's Department. Because of the long queues, people come very early in order to book their place so that they could transact their business and leave. And this man here today has had to turn all of them away. However, let me just get closer to the entrance of this department for a notice that has been posted here. Unfortunately, the offices of the Registrar General's Department, RGD, will be closed to business, to the business community from Thursday, 20th January 2022 until further notice. This is as a result of a decision to embark on a nationwide strike action to press home our demand for better conditions of service for all members of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana. So that is the notice here. Any inconvenience caused is deeply regretted. Found some departments and agencies, and we've seen workers gather around not working. They're supposed to be observing the strike. We've seen, red flags hoisted around various structures. We are at the ministry's area, and currently we are at the area that houses the Ministry of Sanitation, Water Resource, the Works and Housing Ministry, and of course the Ministry of Railways Development. The environment here is very quiet, which is quite unusual of the ministries and this area. You have a lot of activity, going around, but today it is rather on the low and very quiet. Let's get in there to see what is happening. And so there's no notice of a strike here, but let's move in there and see if we could find somebody. So this is the reception of the Ministry of Railways Development, but there's nobody here. I see a lady here. Let me interact with her briefly. Hello, madam. I guess you're here to transact some business of a sort.
Yeah, I'm supposed to have an appointment here.
Okay. What time did you arrive?
Oh, about 30 minutes ago.
Okay. And what time is your appointment?
Oh, it's supposed to be 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock?
Yes.
How long have you been here?
As I said earlier, 30 minutes.
Okay. And has somebody attended to you?
No.
So we've now come to the Works and Housing Ministry. Let's get in there and find out what the situation is. And Well, like we've seen elsewhere, there's nobody here at the reception.
I've come to the Ministry of Works and Housing,
Okay.
and they are on strike, so I'm going back.
Where have you come from?
I came to renew my contract documents.
Okay. And where did you come from?
All the way from Medina.
Medina?
Yes, I drove in 2 hours, and to drive back another 2 hours is something.
You didn't know about the strike?
I never heard it.
This is definitely, I'm sure, going to affect your itinerary for today.
Yes, the fuel cost and then my energy cost. You know, the opportunity cost is very high. Losing revenue. They are not working. Government is losing revenue. Because I have to pay something to government. So the government gets revenue and continue its programs. So government is losing revenue. Because all the revenue outlets are closed. Yeah.
And do you think that government must be that a concern?
As an old civil servant, I think government should do something.
So the strike is in full force. Members have kept faith with their leadership. They remain resolute in demanding better conditions of service. The ordinary Ghanaian, businessmen and indeed government are the receiving end, bearing the brunt of this industrial action. From Accra, Ernest Minu, Joy News.
And in the studio here in Kokomlemle, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. The situation was not different, actually, in the Ashanti region, as many government offices were empty as the workers called for better conditions of service. Mona Lisa Frimpong has more in this report.
A number of workers here at the ministries in Kumasi came to work as usual, only to meet their offices closed, and this is because of the nationwide strike by CLOCSAC. Well, a number of workers are currently stranded.
The Ashanti Regional Chapter of CLOCSAC has about 7,000 members. Members of the association in all ministries, departments and agencies have been charged by their leadership to boycott work until further notice. A task force has been set to drive out recalcitrant members from work. Alexander Obin is Ashanti Regional Chairman of CLOCSAC.
We started a mediation since 2019. We served a notice of this strike in 22nd December 2021. Today is what? 20th, yeah. When we read the Labour Act, it says we served a 7 days notice. We've given them 1 month. We haven't heard anything. Because of that, we don't have any option than to ask our members to sit home until they hear from us to come back to work.
Services provided to the public have been impeded.
I have issues with my payslip, and I was coming to check it, if I can access it. And I came here and I saw that all the doors are locked. And upon finding out, they told me they are on strike. They have issues with the government, and unless it has been resolved, they are not going to work. So for now, I'm stranded because I've come here twice, and this is the second time being here. I'm coming from Asante Achim, Bompata. So if they have issue with the government, they should make sure they pay them, or even they are outstanding, they have to be given so that they come back to work.
The CLOCSAC members want an enhanced salary structure. Samuel Enchi is the Ashanti regional organizer.
In the constitution, the framers of the constitution thought it wise that some category of workers should not be allowed or are not eligible to contest for parliamentary elections. Now, when you go through the list of categories of institutions or workers, civil services part, when you take Article 94, subsection 3, A and B, it spells out the institutions, especially the B, and civil services part. Now, apart from civil service, we are out of the 13 institutions that have been listed there. It's only civil service that's on the single spine. The rest, like judicial service, fire service, GRA, I mean, you can name them. It's only civil service on the single spine. The rest, they have their condition of service. And what we're asking for, we also need a condition of service. That will be binding. That's what we're asking for. It's as simple as that.
The association says they are unhappy with the strike, but they have no option. Well, they are ready to meet and further negotiate with the government if possible. But till then, they continue to stay home. From Kumasi for Joy News, Mona Lisa Frimpong reporting.
We're still live on Joy News Prime, and it's coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll bring you more of the business and sports news.
It's time for business. I'm Charles Ayete. Light fishing continues to dwindle the fish stock, making it difficult for fisher folk to take care of their families. James Ishon features one of such fishermen who can barely keep with his family together because the impact of light fishing has affected his profits and capacity to fend for them. Here's more.
According to the Fisheries Committee for the West Central Gulf of Guinea, the fishing industry in Ghana employs over 2.2 million Ghanaians, which is about 10% of the Ghanaian population, and it contributes to the Ghanaian GDP, that is 4.5% of the Ghanaian GDP. We are currently at the Nungwa landing beach. We just want to know how the fishing industry is actually faring, and also with the automated premix flow, we would also want to delve a bit into it.
Ghana has adequate valuable stocks of fish. Total domestic production, including aquaculture, is roughly 440,000 tons each year. However, the fishing industry in Ghana has reached a low-level equilibrium that provides little prospect for improving the welfare of fisher folk or contribution to the economy as a whole. Over the years, different measures have been put in place to keep the sector running, but its implementation has been faced with a number of issues. Bote claims to have had 3 wives in the past, but due to the current situation of the fishing sector, 2 of them divorced him. He's unhappy about the rate at which fishing communities in Ghana, including Nungwa in Accra, have been plagued by plastic waste and its impact on the work.
1966.
I started fishing in 1966. I used to go with my father when I was in class 1. Back then, fishing was very lucrative until in 1979 when the light fishing method was introduced. It has crippled fishing business. The plastic bags is also not helping matters because it doesn't rot when it enters the sea, unlike the paper bags. This morning, I haven't even taken porridge. I have only 1 cedi in my pocket. Meanwhile, I have kids. Before, when fishing was good, I married 3 wives and gave birth to 15 children. Now they are done with school. I have 21 grandchildren. At my age, I shouldn't be fishing, but due to hardship, I am forced to. And even that, I earn nothing. 2 of my wives have left me due to the situation. How do I take care of my family? We are pleading with the government to intervene and stop the light fishing and the use of plastics.
Emmanuel Bote has been fishing for 20 years. He explains how light fishing is affecting business. With the pilot of the automated premix fuel distribution to reduce human element, Bote described it as a step in the right direction.
Previously, fishing was profitable, but in our era, the emergence of light fishing and the use of plastics is crippling the business. Fishing equipment have also become very expensive. When we go on shore, we come home with polybags instead of fishes. Light fishing is destroying our business. Those who use the light should at least be given a range when using the light. The light drives away the fishes. We have raised this concern several times. Sometimes the situation results in argument. Light fishing is unhealthy. Secondly, holiday beach activities must be limited by the government. They come in, get drunk and end up dying in the sea. We are unable to go fishing when this happens. Talking about the premix fuel, the card we use to purchase the fuel per my calculation is good. It is just like the prepaid. You can buy any amount. The card is really helping us. It prevents misunderstanding and reduces human elements.
The fisher folk believe with effective management, this situation could be reversed.
After interacting with these fisher folks, we are told that the light fishing as well as plastics is really affecting their businesses. Over the years, we've been expecting that much will be done to eradicate this, but it appears as the year goes by, nothing has been done, even if the government attempt to try as much as possible to clamp those who use light for fishing and also put in effort to ensure that these plastics do not affect their businesses. It's all at the end of the day proves futile. And also one key thing they'll also been pointing out is the fact that the automated premix fuel distribution is really being positive on their business. There is some sort of improvement in what they do. For Joy Business, James Ishen.
Well, meanwhile, the Canoe Owners Association has blamed the cause of light fishing on activities of industrial trawlers.
Noted that the decline in catch as artisanal fishers are experiencing now is as a result of the activities of the industrial trawlers, because they have been allowed to harvest small pelagic and juvenile fish in voluminous quantity. And it isn't just about stopping them from doing illegal transshipment. Such catch, small pelagic and juvenile fish, are being landed at the port. And as they continue to harvest small pelagic fish, which is a sole preserve of artisanal fishers, they shouldn't expect artisanal fishers to make a catch. Notwithstanding, we as an association say that once light fishing is prohibited by Regulation 11 of LA 1960, it is important for us to take steps to help the Ministry and the Commission to address it. For this reason, in the course of these 3 days, we have met canoe owners in the Western region, the Central region, and we are currently meeting canoe owners in the Greater Accra region, all for the purpose of bringing it to their attention, giving them the platform to reflect that over the years you have fished with the light and you are not making a catch. And you are even pursued for an illegality which is not giving you any benefit, which you are being pursued. So why don't we put a stop to it, re-engage the Ministry and the Commission, and see the way forward?
Away from that, Ghana's fiscal outlook looks challenging amidst the downgrade by ratings agency Fitch, and because of this, investors demanding for higher interest rates on Ghana's bond. In that, government is now racing to cut down expenditure across all ministries, municipal assemblies, departments and agencies by 20%. This is part of expenditure controlling measures to contain the country's rising budget deficit, which is far more than 35 billion cedis. Take a listen to the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, explaining some contingency measures to be taken to regain confidence in the domestic and international market.
We are also strengthening expenditure management in 2022 and beyond to ensure that we match all expenditures to revenue inflows. All expenditure commitments in 2020 will be adjusted to match revenue collection. Therefore, in accordance with Section 20 of the Public Financial Management Act, the quarterly expenditure ceilings of the approved budget will include up to a 20% downward adjustment beginning in the first quarter of 2022 in commitments across board for all covered entities benefiting from the 2022 budget, subject to revenue performance. This means that our fiscal consolidation addenda is not going to be only revenue-led, but also expenditure-focused. In addition to the e-levy, we are committed to the implementation of other revenue measures, including the exemption bill, property taxes, internally generated funds, etc. I look forward to further engaging with you all in the coming days and sharing government's vision for creating a country where ingenuity is encouraged, where innovation is supported, where public service is valued, where responsibility and burden sharing is for all of us and prosperity will be shared. Accountability for the custodianship of public resources would also be prioritized.
Responding to this, an associate professor at the University of Ghana has urged that the 20% quarterly cap on the budget of MMDAs is not a sustainable measure to contain Ghana's budget deficit. Take a listen to Professor, of course, the professor in finance speak to this particular situation.
To say that you are cutting across all the ministries, I have a question to that. But then the initiative is good. I mean, I have been dreaming of looking at our expenditure side of the budget, how we can contain some, expenditure from that point. And so the 20% cut, it makes sense. That should tell you that our expenditure is going to reduce in total by 20% margin. And so the 137 billion that was being targeted in the budget in November for this year will be reduced by 20%. So we're looking at around 107, which is almost close to, the revenue that we intend to generate, which is about 100 billion. And so it's a good call. And if we should recompute the budget deficit based on this percentage cut announced by the finance minister, I would say that, yes, we are on course.
Well, just before we end business, the Bank of Ghana has directed all financial institutions to start accepting the Ghana card for identification purposes from the 1st of July this year. This was contained in a notice issued by the Central Bank, of which we shall share some slides of excerpts of that correspondence there. It says that these particular banks included in this directive are specialized deposit-taking institutions, non-deposit-taking financial institutions, payment service providers, and dedicated electronic money issuers, as well as forex bureaus and credit reference bureaus. Now, this is backed by law. So what's going to happen is that from the 1st of July, if you do not have a Ghana card, it could be restricted in transacting monies along these lines of the institutions. It goes on to say that customers of the Bank of Ghana regulated financial institutions are therefore advised to update their records with their respective financial institutions with a Ghana card in line with this notice. We shall keep an eye on this to give you updates as and when we do have them. But in the meantime, we have sports. But of course, take a look at international business summaries.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the second part of the sports segment. A tournament involving Ghana's Black Stars are peak periods for trading in the team's jerseys and other paraphernalia. But many who stock Black Stars products cannot figure out how they will offset the goods after Ghana's shocking exit from the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations. A performance many describe as abysmal has caused disaffection for the team in the soccer-loving city of Kumasi. Love FM's Nana Aljima has the following report on the issue.
The Central Business District of Kumasi is busy today as usual, but calmness is felt in God is Good Sportswear shop, where Emmanuel Owusu had hopes for a busy day for sales if the Black Stars had qualified for the next stage of the AFCON.
Since 2010, and I'm because 2014. I'm called Brazil now, Uncle Yohono, and if you want supporters, no.
Between 2010 and 2014, the business was very good. It was after the World Cup in Brazil that the sales dipped. Before the tournament, many were buying the jerseys and they were happy about it.
1,000 jerseys of the Black Stars were stocked for both wholesale and retail. As often anticipated, the market was expected to get busy with the progression of the team in the tournament. Mr. also explains sales before and after the first game had been positive.
Starting in our first game, no dear. Almost starting
After the game, people were purchasing the jerseys despite the defeat. But after the second game, sales dipped. But now, I have no hope of selling.
For 1,000 pieces.
I have 1,000 pieces at the warehouse, which I hope to sell in the coming days.
The nostalgia of the yellow Adidas jersey of the Black Stars in the early 90s remains with many soccer fans. Francis Quaten, who deals in jerseys, prays the nostalgia keeps the sales.
The Puma jerseys are nice, and people are buying not because of the team's performance, but for its beauty. Now the jerseys worn in the era of Abedi Pele is on the market, and the response is very good.
Kumase's affection for the national team made the Baba Yara Sports Stadium the favorite home grounds for the Black Stars. But the love has waned. Many say they are not interested in owning a replica jersey.
Oh, I just want a simple jersey to wear it anytime, anyhow. Yeah.
But for the Black Stars?
No, not at all. Not at all. Because they are not good. They are not good at all. Yeah, they are not good at all. I wish I shall because abysmal performance.
Ghana has done a lot in the national team, but like with this national team, I can't wear their jersey. I would prefer to wear the old jerseys, like Abedi Pele's and then Tony Ebua's, Sika Kono's time jerseys.
Because everybody say feel because the GDS cancer is friend. No we see no more TV. All they mention. Someone doing their and the BSC and the
Until the Black Stars return to winning ways, these jerseys will continue to hang at the vendors' shops. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima, Kumasi.
Well, just as we're wrapping up, Group F has also wrapped up, and that means that the group stages of the Africa Cup of Nations has been set. In terms of the happenings in Group F, Gambia getting a late goal against Tunisia, and on their debut they finished second in that group and qualified to the next stage. Topping the group will be Mali, who beat Mauritania this evening by 2-0. Tunisia finished third and would face Nigeria in the round of 16 stage. We're bringing you the full draw and more action online, so you can follow us on social media at JoySportsGH or on our website at myjoyonline/sports. My name is Ore Kwampofo.
And as I wrap up the bulletin tonight, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. That's where you get more news and updates of all the developing stories. To enjoy the rest of our programs.